The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 759. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Chie Tamada, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She's a lettering artist and also works in the tech industry, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Chie Tamada. Chie, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more by yourself to the listeners.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks, Sheena. So excited to be here. Hi, everyone. I'm Chie, and I'm a lettering artist based in San Francisco. I draw letters to inspire creativity and active living, and I'm currently focused on lettering projects, working with people and brands in the active fitness or wellness industry.
Thanks for sharing that. And Chie, what's your cultural background?
So my cultural background consists of a mixture of things. My parents are Japanese and they were born and raised in Japan. And once they married, they had me in Japan, but we immediately lived in Australia for 5 years. And following that, we came to the States for the first time to live in New York for 3 years, and then back to Japan for a year while I was in third grade. So still really young. And then I eventually moved to LA, where I spent most of my life growing up and getting accustomed to American culture.
Thanks for sharing that. And what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite one is, "What's the worst that could happen?" And the reason why is I believe I was lucky enough in my early years of navigating through my career and freelancing journey to have positive outcomes after facing difficult problems and having to take the leap of faith and just go for it. So some of the examples are when I decided to outreach and email people that I didn't have connections with just to meet with for coffee or pitch a lettering project. And in addition to lettering, I also got my current full-time job in tech by taking the leap of faith and cold emailing. So very optimistic person. I also believe other people should think this way.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's so true, right? I mean, when you ask that question, and like the worst that could happen is you get rejected or you say no, and if you can handle it, then you should just go for it, right? Because you never know what could happen. So thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
My definition of self-confidence is being in a state or a mental state where you have a good grasp of what you want to achieve, why it matters to you, and being comfortable with making it happen. So I could imagine someone with self-confidence, they might come across a really tricky problem and they have to solve it. And they might think to themselves, gee, like that seems really hard, but I got this. And even with the word self in self-confidence, it doesn't have to be an independently handled. So it's totally okay to lean on your peers or your friends to help you to get feedback or brainstorm ideas. But after getting that support, you'd want to be able to tell yourself that whatever it is, you can achieve it on your own.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Jay, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I think my self-confidence still comes in waves. Even after lettering for almost 5 years, I still deal with imposter syndrome every now and then, but it's definitely gotten better. And before I discovered my passion for lettering, I think overall I'd keep a lot of my thoughts to myself and not think anything about it or believe that it was something people would want to hear. And I'd also make things and not feel the desire to share it or just keep it to myself. And you tend to be more closed off when you don't have as much self-confidence, which I think is super important because everyone has different things to give to this world, different perspectives, interpretations, and ideas. So we should all feel comfortable sharing these things to people who see the world differently.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, growing up as an Asian woman, it's always challenging for us to sometimes share our thoughts or speak our truth or have a voice, especially how we're brought up. We've always been told to just be in the background, never make any noise, don't rock the boat, just do as you're told. And that really hurts our confidence because it's like we feel trapped in our own body or in our own thoughts or in our own head, not realizing like we're here for a reason. We can go out there and be who we are and, live the life that we want. And what was that point in your life when you realized you can go out there and be who you are today? What was that aha moment?
Well, I think I've had several throughout my lettering journey. The most recent one I can think of is a rebranding project that I did very recently, just a couple months ago. So that aha moment came once again, and it was about uncovering your true self. So while I was doing the rebrand, I thought about rebranding myself from working as a lettering artist under a different alias. It was called Spark Letters. And then when I first started lettering, I was doing a lot of work for wedding clients. And I decided that I was ready to finally put my name and face to the work so I could be recognized by people who come across it and make it more unique and personal. So I went through various exercises to think through my values, what excites me, how I want to spend my time. And for the longest time, I was putting fitness, that type of those interests, as a separate thing from my creative pursuits. But as someone that exercises every day and trains for triathlons and climbs regularly, I knew that I could leverage this as a way to differentiate myself from all the other creatives out there. And so with that, I thought to myself, there are things that all of us can contribute, and there's no reason to hide these things. Bringing your true self, being very authentic is actually very valuable.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's great that you're able to realize, you can just show your true self and the right people will come to you. And, because of this realization, what's your life been like now?
So now I'm focused on drawing letters to inspire creativity and active living. And having this focus has helped me tremendously with feeling confident about the work I'm doing, whether it's aligned to my goals and mission, or being okay with saying no to opportunities that don't seem to be a good fit. And this is the first time that I've had this sort of focus, but it's allowed me to cater my work really well to the right audience rather than trying to please the general population. I tend to say yes to a lot of things, so this has been really good exercise for me, and just makes brainstorming and strategizing so much more exciting too.
Thanks for sharing that. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would say find a skill that you're already good at or want to be good at. So it could be anything from creative to other technical skills even, and just start practicing it every day. So when I started lettering almost 5 years ago, I did a 365-day lettering challenge to keep myself accountable and practice daily. And I never thought it would take me this far, but it's brought me so many opportunities and allowed me to meet people who are on the same boat as me to try to figure things out while creating. And so knowing that I'm not alone in this journey and that many other people around me were experiencing similar challenges, but we could lean on each other to learn quicker and avoid mistakes was just so empowering and helpful in developing my self-confidence. So start practicing, go find people who are doing similar things as you, and just build a community with them.
Thanks for sharing that great tip. And, I think that's a great tip because, sometimes when we try something new or we want to do something new, we feel like we're the only ones doing it. But when we see other people who are in the similar situation as us, it's not as bad as it seems. I remember doing my first video and it was nerve-wracking. It was terrible. And it took me 2 hours to do a 2-minute video. But when I connected with a women's group and I found out that they were all in the same boat as me, it wasn't as scary as it was. I mean, it was still scary, but I knew that I'm not the only one who was scared. And like you mentioned, practicing every day, people feel like there's people out there who get successful or famous overnight, but it's because they've practiced a skill every single day that led them to that result. So thanks for sharing that. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do and check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram. It's at chie.tamada, and my website is chietamada.com.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Chie, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Chie's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Chie today for taking the time to share her stories and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Chie.
Thanks for having me, Sheena.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get your daily boost of confidence.